All right. All right. All right.
Good?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sounds pretty nice with these headphones on. Well, thank you to all our live viewers here tuning into Art Network, episode 1. We just would like to get started and get to the point, talk about artwork, talk about just see where the conversation goes. If there's hiccups, if it's a little rough, we apologize. We plan on doing this podcast regularly, 5 times a week. So we figure we're on episode 1 now. We figure that by episode 20, episode 50, episode 100, we'll get the hang of it. And you, the listeners, I'm sure you'll enjoy it more and more as time goes on. Just bear with us through any difficulties and any, like I said, anything that might seem a little bumpy or have some hiccups. For this first episode, we have Bryan. Bryan, what city are we in?
We are in Miami, Florida, man.
Okay. And are you a local here? Are you from Miami?
I was born and raised in Miami. Yep.
As I think I remember, you said to Cuban parents?
Yeah, Cuban and Puerto Rican. So.
Cuban, Puerto Rican, nice. You were born here, you said?
Yeah, born here.
Cool, cool.
So, born and raised in the county of Dade. That's a saying that goes around here.
Dade County, huh? Cool. So growing up in Miami, there's a lot of, Spanish culture, all types of different people come from Central America, South America, the islands.
Yeah.
Do you feel like growing up that had something to do with maybe like the creative aspect of your life?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, by trade, I'm a graphic designer, and as a freelance graphic designer and working with a lot of clients, you do notice a difference between, so to speak, Hispanic clients, which is mostly what's down here, right? So the culture, or especially the Spanish environment, has definitely influenced a lot. Personally, either with the music I listen to and my point of view, like how Hispanics grow up. Mm-hmm. It's always interesting, to say the least. So, yeah.
Yeah, Miami is definitely a place where I feel is, other than maybe New York City and a few small cities, is one of the places where you have so many cultures that are intertwined.
Right.
You have Little Haiti, you have Little Havana, you have Brickell, you have areas where there's Portuguese people, you have Hialeah. So, I mean, all of these different cultures, they bring their culture from their countries.
Right.
And so, me being from Seattle, I grew up seeing the Asian culture influence Japan, China, Vietnam, Philippines, all these different Asian cultures. And you learn the differences between them.
Right.
And also the Mexican influence on the West Coast. So when I came to Miami, it was kind of this whole spark of color.
Okay.
I guess you can say. I mean, if you look at all the Miami sport teams, the Dolphins, the Marlins, I mean, besides the Heat being, red, right. Those teams have very vibrant colors.
Right. Hurricanes, yeah.
And so with that being said, you when you come to Miami, you feel all of the colors. And I think that is what created Wynwood. I think Wynwood is created out of the subconscious mind of all these cultures and all this creativity that's here in Miami. So yeah. I think Wynwood kind of sprung out of that. When we first met, you actually were originally located closer to Wynwood.
Yes, yeah. Canvas Fab started out in...
Well, real quick, so our listeners know, what is Canvas Fab? And then you can kind of lead into your location at Wynwood and how you started.
Absolutely. So Canvas Fab is a print company. We print pictures on canvas. So for those of you watching right now, everything that's hanging behind us and around us is what we do here. So any picture Whether you're an artist or photographer, we print it out on a frame or on canvas and stretch it around a frame. So it's kind of like wall art and decor. So that's kind of what we do. When we first started out, we started out in Wynwood. And yes, I mean, it's totally different. There's a huge melting pot over there from various cultures. We saw it when people would walk in. I mean, we dealt with different people from South America, all types of countries down there: Argentina, Venezuela, Chile, Colombia. You know.
So you opened your business in Wynwood?
So the business started out in Wynwood, yeah.
And what is the area Wynwood before it became Wynwood? What would you say that's called? Midtown? Would you say it's
Midtown is
behind Midtown?
The design district. I mean,
district.
It was kind of. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Wynwood is always kind of like, I guess. Well, I mean, now it's referred to as the design district, but back in the day, from my understanding, it was a huge like textile place.
That's where the warehouses
right. So
from.
there on 2nd Avenue, we've done work with a particular gallery there, and the history behind that gallery used to be a textile factory. But yeah, around there, there used to be a lot of textiles and stuff. So I feel like there was already a sense of creativity then, because I mean, in terms of textiles, that's, I mean, ranging from all types of things, rugs, interior decor. So
okay. And so, how, I guess what I'm trying to get to here is, you opened up your print shop, your canvas shop. Did you just coincidentally have it located in Wynwood during the growth of Wynwood?
So when we were in Wynwood, it's actually funny because when we first started out, we actually got grandfathered into someone else's lease. And it just so happened to work out because they were kind of right there at the borderline of Wynwood, right where everything starts. So that's kind of how we ended up in Wynwood with that particular location. It was just kind of like, hey, there's a spark for a business, and this opportunity presented itself, and without hesitation, it was just 100% commitment.
Okay, so with that start, canvases, right?
Yeah.
How did you kind of get your foot into the game in sense of like, hey, I want to open up this business, I want to print photos, I want to print artwork on stretched canvas, I want to mount it myself. You wanted to create this business.
Right.
Why print on canvases? What gave you the idea? What gave you the motivation to turn that into a business?
Right. Well, I always knew, kind of since day one, that I could remember, that I understood what business was, and I always knew that I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to have my own business, and it started out with me.
I think people who know they want to be a business owner, I think that's from at a very young age. I think it's kind of.
Yeah, it was. You know what?
Can I take these off?
Yeah.
Cool, because it's hard to have a conversation, dude. I feel like I'm fucking in a robot or something. God damn. Okay, what were we talking about right now? You were saying
what inspired me, or like why the business, why canvas. So long story short, here's kind of like the how it all formed together. There was actually a canvas business in Wynwood, and they were closing and going out of business, but they were strictly online based.
How'd you know about that?
Through a friend of mine. At the time, he actually worked for that canvas company.
So they didn't really have like an open shop set up.
They
just
have
closed off.
Yeah, it was just they were going out of business. He used to work down there, and it was a combination of being at the right place at the right time, knowing the right person, and it worked out where we ended up winning a deal, where we agreed to a deal where we purchased a lot of equipment from them, and so
they were like liquidating.
Correct.
Everything.
Yeah. So they were doing canvas. So it's funny when
the idea came that you didn't originally create the idea. You kind of saw the situation, saw the opportunity,
correct,
and you already kind of enjoy the niche.
Yes. What drawed me towards this particular business was the fact that I didn't know anything about it, and which was intriguing to me because when I, in retrospect, my mother's always been. Ever since childhood, I mean, she's always enjoyed taking pictures. So we have albums and albums and albums. And I found it interesting how it just so happened to be that I end up in a print business that works with printing pictures.
How's your mom feel about that?
We actually talked about it the other day. It was funny. But it was kind of like, yeah, it's pretty cool how that ended up, happening.
That's cool.
And so the idea was there. And they, I guess, for whatever reason, they're going out of business. So they're looking at their business at the tail end.
How old are you when this is happening?
24.
Okay, so you're 24.
Just graduated.
You've been in Miami your whole life. You just graduated from where?
From the Art Institute.
The Art Institute. Okay, yeah. With what specifications?
With a degree, a bachelor's degree in graphic design.
In graphic design. Okay,
yeah.
So that avenue, in a sense, doesn't really have to do with directly printing on canvases, but it does have to work with just design in general and colors and shapes and editing. Or
my first job, my first real job, and my only real job.
Okay.
I was on Craigslist looking for a job, and I got called by this company.
Okay.
They said they needed a graphic designer, and so I ended up there, and it was a print company. They were printing business cards, postcards, posters.
Is this the same company that went out of business?
No.
Okay, so this is another company that you
got
a gig at.
Yeah,
as a graphic designer.
When I started college, I started this job.
Oh, cool. So you just BS'd it.
Pretty much.
Technically, you said this is what I can do. Well, not that you BS them, but you got like an opportunity to put some work in.
Right. So I got hired as a graphic designer. I mean, and I had some knowledge because I was doing graphic design since high school. That was back in the day of MySpace where, you would customize your profile.
Your whole page, yeah.
Yeah, so
you didn't even have to hack that back then, right?
No.
Like you didn't have to download any type of software. They just gave you all the lettering, all the fonts, everything.
Yeah, but it was just cool because you had the option to just customize. It was like your own domain on the internet, and they were kind of like the first. They paved the way almost.
And they made it nice because you didn't have to know how to code.
Exactly.
You didn't have to do anything. And when you saw someone's MySpace page that had a cool plugin, it was so easy to just copy paste the HTML. MySpace made it super easy.
Yeah. So that's kind of like wow, you're bringing me back there.
Okay, so you're going into the Art Institute. You want to study graphic design. You get a gig working for a company that prints business cards, flyers,
it was a printing
logos.
company. Yeah, and then I thought to myself one day, honestly, this is exactly what happened. At the end of the year, I was working there for 1 year, and I kind of, they give you your, your, kind of like end of year report or whatever the case is for your taxes.
Okay.
And I looked.
Oh wow! So they had a position they wanted to fill.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you filled it.
Right.
Got
so
it.
it wasn't it wasn't an under the table job. It was actually like
it was a position
correct.
They needed filled.
Right.
Okay.
So it was like my only real job, right? Because as a freelancer, I mean that's just me, like connecting, networking. Hey, I can design some stuff for you. It's not like you're at an office or you have a stable paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? So I started with that, and that kind of when the opportunity came to start this business, I looked at the opportunity and say, hey, well, I have a little bit of background in printing, so I understand printing. I have a design
from the print company.
From the print company, I have a degree in graphic design, so I know what it takes to correctly execute a brand strategy, and obviously do cohesive marketing, all of that. And I figured to myself, you know what? I saw the opportunity and said, man, this is a really interesting business. There were so many people that would benefit from this. And
can you rewind real quick and let us know how you got in contact with the company that prints on canvases in
In Wynwood?
Yeah.
My friend used to work for them.
Okay, so your friend is working for a company.
Well,
Was working for a
Right,
company
right.
that essentially just printed photos.
correct.
On
yeah.
canvases.
Yeah, they
Okay.
had an online canvas shop
And so then he let you know
that they
their
were going out of
situation.
business. Right.
And then did he let you know that thinking, wow, Bryan would be so good for this? Or did he just let it, did he just share the news with you and then you created this whole concept in your head? How did that play out?
Right. So the conversation kind of went like, "Hey, man, they're getting rid of all their stuff because they're going out of business. It could be a good opportunity, either
To buy some
to,
stuff.
to buy it and flip it, or to buy it and start a business." Right.
So the business wasn't for sale then. It was just the
It was
things they
just-
were liquidating.
Correct. They were
Okay.
liquidating the business,
And they were
right?
also located in Wynwood.
They were located in our original location.
Oh, so you actually took over their lease.
We took over their lease.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was.
How much was their
and
lease?
we'll get into that.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
not that particular, but
Okay.
what I wanted to say was it was very hard at the beginning because they closed their business in a I would say in a bad note or on a bad note with
They
their
didn't pay
previous
rent
customers.
or something. Oh, with their
With their
customers.
like they had orders unfulfilled. So when we started our business and said we're in the same address, people thought that we were the same company just
Oh,
trying
that
to.
hurt.
At the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, that would hurt.
But you know what? We're here now.
Okay. So that's kind of how you snuck into that good situation to kind of
Right.
revamp it. What was the old company called?
The company was called. Why is it not coming to me right now? I have no idea.
Okay, well you renamed it. Obviously, you renamed it to Canvas Fab.
Correct.
Okay.
And that itself was a process there, coming up with the name.
And you said this was all about 3-4 years ago, right?
This was in 2014. Yeah, I graduated
Okay.
in June, and I started this business at the end of September.
Yeah, and just so our listeners know, it's pretty awesome. He's relocated here to Aventura, and he has a nice large warehouse, a bunch of huge printing machines, huge rolls of canvas, bunch of wood, and they do everything from scratch. I actually get a bunch of my canvases ordered here with some sketches that I draw up, and it's awesome. It's impressive. We're live here now from the canvas shop, and so how do you feel like the journey from opening that business at 24 years old in an up and coming area with art? Were you kind of like you understood, okay, I know how to do this, I know how to create these canvases, I know how to print them, you knew how to do everything? Were you kind of more on the let's continue online like this prior business, or let's like expand like locally, get those local clients and online? What if you had to take like the red pill or the blue pill, and red being internet, blue being local, like what did you kind of dive into?
The local.
The local. Okay, so you
Correct.
kind of flipped it.
Yeah, I mean
Who works with you locally? Like, is it like, oh, I want to buy a present for my mom, let me get a picture done? Like,
Right.
how did you do that?
So I first started networking with my professors at school when I graduated. After I graduated and I opened up the business, I spoke to all my professors and said, hey, I'm opening up this business. And I did a couple tours where my professors would bring over the class, and I'd give them a tour of our
Print shop.
print shop and what we do.
How you stretch the canvases.
How we stretch the
or-
canvas, how we can help the students with their portfolio. Because long story short, when I was graduating and I was looking to print stuff for my own portfolio,
Okay.
there weren't
Photos?
There weren't,
Or-
or just like my
things
graphic
you-
design portfolio
Okay,
and
to get it
things that I
printed?
needed. Right. There wasn't a company that I felt comfortable with that would really cater to me as a student, artist, photographer, designer. That really didn't exist locally, and I saw the opportunity for that, and that's what drove it. And I started out with fellow students, and then it just kind of spread out with other photographers and other creatives. And then, since it's a nice gift per se. You know, we work with photographers that do weddings, engagements. You know, that's how we also got into the regular retail market with just like mom and dad and grandma that wants a picture, you know.
And how long would you say you were focused on finding those local clients? Were you kind of just trying to focus on, hey, let's make X amount of orders so we can stay alive? Were you kind of just trying to get those local people? Because I feel like whenever anyone does something on the internet, it definitely doesn't pay off right away.
Correct.
You have to create your website. Your website has to look good. You have to have a checkout. Most of the time, you can't even do the website yourself.
Right.
Even with these Squarespace and all these stores that make it easy. I mean, if you want a really good active like website,
right,
you most of the time as a business owner need to outsource that work.
Correct. Well, we had to,
yeah. I mean, it's just hard to do it all, and so the point I'm trying to make across is if you try to make any type of profit on the internet, you have to drive those clicks to your website. Your website has to look good. You have to convert those sales. You have to ship the product. It's gonna be the most profitable way, but the return on your time, your investment, everything, it takes a long time to pay off. So is that kind of why you probably were like, let's get this cash, let's go local?
Right. Well,
is that kind of what happened?
The approach stayed in both on both playing fields.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. So
okay. You tapped into the local market.
I tapped into the local market, and the reason why I tapped in was because they never even looked for success in the local market. So I said, I'm going to start with something that they didn't even think about to begin with. And then they obviously had found success online. So we used the kind of same approach.
The same approach, like did you study what they already had?
Yes. So they had.
What did they have?
They had deals that would get them exposure. So on Groupon, Living Social.
Okay.
So I took that same approach, you know, and created some Groupon ads.
They had a website.
Correct.
Okay. So they had all of these kind of like new upcoming like website apps that offer their promos.
Yes. Yeah. So essentially it was just like, you know, on Groupon you go on and say, hey, here's a $20 coupon for $40 worth of, you know, product, right? Yeah. So it was kind of like that, you know.
What social media platforms did they have? Do you remember? Probably just like what, Facebook, Twitter maybe?
The previous company, if I remember correctly, they simply just had a website and a Facebook page. They didn't have Instagram or...
Instagram was still a baby back then.
Yeah, because they were in the business for 4 years. So think of this. If I started in 2014, they started probably in 2010, 2009.
Okay, so what was your now like, okay, they're doing these things online.
Right.
You're going to do the same things. Did you add anything to it?
I actually felt like I improved some of the things that they had going on. One of the things was when I was new to the business, I didn't really know the product. I didn't know what a canvas print was until I actually
don't know what one is right now.
Right, you know, like it's still. So when people ask me, well, what do you do? I said, yeah, I have a canvas printing business. You know, we print pictures on canvas. And that still is like a blank statement, almost like, well, what's a canvas print, right?
I mean, unless you're in the game somehow, you're not going to know. Like,
right, exactly.
People. I mean, our listeners, you guys know, but I mean, most people be like, a canvas, what's a canvas?
Right, exactly. So then that's when I take the time and pull up our Instagram. Yeah, this is what we do. You know, and when people see it, when they see the physical product, and it's amazing too, it's kind of flows back in. But I mean, what was your reaction when you saw your work printed?
Well, I guess there's two different reactions.
Right.
You have the reaction me as an artist, and then you have the reaction me as a person who doesn't associate themselves as an artist.
Correct.
You know, I have a few different personas. So me as an artist, I mean, it's really exciting because when you are creating an original piece of artwork, that original, it has value.
Right.
In a sense, it has value that it's one of a kind. There's never going to be another original.
Right.
And also value in a sense that you want to sell it, but you want to sell it at a valuable price. But artists, the problem is they have great work, they want to sell it, but it's hard for them to sell it at a price, right, that the average person who isn't an art collector can spend $30, $50, $100, whatever the case. So me as an artist, when I first placed my order with you and you converted my original work to print work and I received the order, it was kind of a feeling of relief, in a sense that now I can casually give away my art as gifts. I can sell it at a very affordable cost, not really focus on making a profit, more sharing my artwork.
You saw the product and got inspired.
It definitely kind of took my art to another level, because not only can I now share and sell my original work printed, now I can kind of expand. Like when you're an artist and you're trying to learn new styles and stuff, and you pass by a gallery and you see some extravagant painting with a bunch of different mediums and techniques, as an artist you're just like, how did they do that? And you kind of look, it's weird. Now you'll see paintings that are kind of mixed, like you'll see like a photo, and then you'll see kind of like a newspaper that looks like paper mache on. I don't even know what they do, but knowing that I can print things onto a canvas and then additionally add mediums to it, it also expands what I can do as an artist. Not because I can't take the time to do it myself, but because I can do so much more work now. I can work 10, 20, 30 pieces, still add the amount of time I would normally add, but now I'm having more work, more creativity, more styles. And frankly, we're not 200-300 years in the past. We don't have to look at some tree and a sunset and paint it, and in 2-3 hours the sunset is gone, and then the next 3 days it's raining and you have to finish your painting from a live sunset. Now, in my opinion, if you have an iPad and you have a blank piece of paper and you quote freehand the photo, you're still cheating the game. You're copying a photo. You're not but you're not cheating the game, because the game adapts. The game changes
always.
So now we're coming into this like technology age and virtual reality and all of these things. So art is going to become, in a sense, created in this virtual place. And it's kind of already happening on the social media platforms. If you see digital artists, graphic artists, cartoons, video games, that's all art. It's a video game is a sculpture, a 3D sculpture in digital form. So with all of that being said, as an artist, being able to print different things, originals, photos, patterns, outlines, things of that sense onto canvases in a mass sense, I feel like it's just one of those stepping stones in the progression of art, you know. So that's the beautiful thing about art. Now, as a regular person, I think it's cool. I think it's everyone has their pictures on their phones, everyone has their pictures online, and no one really like drops off their camera roll at Costco and goes and picks up their 300 pictures and looks at it with the family. It just doesn't really happen ever. So I think this is also another business that I believe is gonna go with like an increasing wave of people longing for and wanting physical content. We're moving into a digital content age, where people are addicted and they thrive on that digital content. But because there's so much digital content, original content, physical content is gonna go down, which is gonna make it like more popular, more trendy, and it's just it's cool to see that wave. So that's why I think what you have going on here as a business is super awesome, because I feel like it's kind of rare. I feel like people are scratching the surface, and you're definitely an awesome guy. When I met you, we hit it off real quick. We contacted each other somehow on Instagram, I think through a friend request.
You actually started following us.
And
I just happened to be on Instagram. I said, "Oh, who's this?" And I started looking at your work, and something just said, "Reach out to him or her. Reach out to this person and see if you can."
Because my Instagram is anonymous.
Yeah, so I think the message just was like, "Hey, I like your work. Check out what we do. If there's anything I can help you out with, let us know." Something like that.
And I had been looking for somewhere to print my work also.
Right. Which was amazing to me because that was not so long ago, which means, and confirms what I believe, is that there's still a lot of people who need this service that are unaware of it. Which is why I've decided to dedicate myself and commit myself even more to trying to reach more local people and also people online to provide this service.
Good. Good thing you brought up online. We didn't really go off topic, but we kind of went to the fact that artists and people, everyone can benefit from having original prints, original canvases, and that you were marketing to local people. Now, how are you focusing now on in getting your product out to the masses online?
Since this is the live version, I've honestly been reading a lot, and reading has inspired me and given me a lot of ideas.
For the internet.
For the internet,
specifically, not just reading and getting ideas.
So I've been reading things along the lines of sales. So in particular,
once again, online sales, like specifically, or like sales in general, and you're applying those principles online.
Sales in general, and I'm applying these principles.
Okay.
Right. So this is understanding and truly believing in providing the best service that I can possibly provide.
Okay, so from that reading, you would say providing the best service is the focus,
right?
Kind of?
So essentially, what's inspired me is I've gotten these ideas to, provide value. This is the best thing, or the most important. If there was one thing that I can share that I've recently gotten in terms of value from reading, is to provide as much value as I possibly can, because it's my goal for anyone to come in here that I give them the tools and service that they need to help them get to whatever level they're trying to reach.
Okay, so when you say value,
this is value in terms of product value, getting the best bang for their buck. Also teaching them, I'm actually in the process of creating a Photoshop course for those who either want to get into Photoshop, still need to know basics and fundamentals. So this type of value, I have so much information in my head that I'm so willing to share.
So you want to take care of like your clients.
Correct.
Like you just want to get a client and just A to Z, make sure they kind of all their questions are answered.
Right, they have everything that they need.
That they're happy.
Correct.
Okay, so what will that give you? Let's say, boom, you're reading these sales books, you understand giving value, providing that good A to Z process. What is the next step from that? Okay, boom, you're providing this good service. What comes from that? Why do that as a business owner? Why be like Amazon and not take profits at the beginning of your business and just focus on the customers' long-term convenience?
Correct. Because I truly believe in having an evergreen business, which is a business.
Evergreen?
Yeah. Which is a business, for example, let's say that will still be around for the next generation.
Okay.
Like this business, in my opinion, is a business that's not going anywhere, simply in the fact that...
What are you saying, like 2050?
Yeah, like okay. Pictures are... I don't think pictures are going to be stopped being printed.
Not until like we finally reach that level where we're like synced in a pod and our bodies are
right. I'm saying right.
Until then,
yeah.
So let's say like 2200, like 2200.
Right. So I truly believe in long-term relationships, and this is who I am as a person. And maybe you got that vibe when we met. Was I just wanted to be as much service to you as possible, because I mean.
Well, I ask a lot of questions. Like,
yeah.
Regardless if the person who's helping me or not,
right,
is like wanting to help me, I am so curious and looking at how do they do this? What did they,
right.
did they have to create legal paperwork to do what they're doing? How did they get money? Like, all of these things are very, I'm very curious about them. So I'm always asking people, like, how do you do this? How do you do this? So when I came here and you were showing me around and I'm asking you questions, when somebody is willing to talk to me, which, probably like half the people are actually like, oh, okay, yeah, I answer all your questions.
Right.
And then other half of the people, they'll just kind of nonchalantly answer the questions. But I still get the information I need out of them, so I don't really care. So when you started telling me, which I still have a million questions about how all this works, because I personally, my dad, he's an artist, and he knows how to stretch canvas and do the wood and everything. I have no clue how. But when I came here, just asking you questions. How old is this printer?
Right.
Oh, this one's really dusty. Why is this one dusty? Oh, because we have these 3 new models here. Oh, what's the difference between these new models and this old model? What year is this from?
Right.
I'm not going to go buy a printer.
Of course.
But now I kind of understand what the evolution of that printer was, or the difference between printing an image in 2018 to 2010, whatever that is. So I think what you're saying, giving people that customer experience from A to Z, good follow-up,
loyalty.
Yeah, and as you listeners will know, I'll use a lot of examples for LA Fitness. I worked there for 5 years, did a lot of good things there, and learned a lot. And one thing that they mess up on is they do steps A to Z, but they'll do A, C, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, Z, and then the next client will get the A, D, F, B process. And I guess what I'm trying to say is they have all of the letters, but they don't really stick to it. That's not really what their focus is. Their focus is strictly making profit, which in order to do that, they have all the letters in place, the A through the Z, but they don't really focus on it. As where if you look at a business like Nordstrom's, which is from Seattle, my hometown, if you look a little into their story, I mean, don't quote me on anything I'm saying, this is just from a vague memory, but they focus so much on the customer's experience that if you went back to Nordstrom and you returned something that was messed up, it had a stain, it was from another store, just whatever BS you were going to give them, they would return your product.
Right. No questions asked, right?
And I think if you look now today, no questions asked. If you look now today, they aren't dying with Sears, Macy's. They're not dying with them because they have that kind of that mindset, so they're very good at adapting.
Correct.
And now they have this Nordstrom Rack, which is kind of like Ross and all these TJ Maxx, these kind of stores, but it's Nordstrom Rack, and you're seeing them everywhere, and they're making money. So what I'm referring to is that a business like LA Fitness, they're making a bunch of money, they dominate the game, they're doing a great job, but I don't think they're going to be around for a long time.
Right.
In a sense of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road, they're probably going to have the same fate that other gym companies had, Bally's Fitness, whatever. Few guys will make billions of dollars and the company will just kind of fizzle out, die off. As where a company like Nordstrom, Amazon, Apple, these are companies that look at their goals 5-10 years down the road, and they really do care about the customer.
Correct.
Which when you care about the customer, your profits soar through the roof.
Right.
So you, as a small business owner, creating this canvas business and doing that, I think it's pretty awesome that you already see the importance in taking care of your clients in that sense. And
I mean, I simply realized that if I had no clients, I'd have no business. The life of this business are my clients, and the reason why I'm willing to be so open and so helpful is because I just like being taken care of as a person and not a customer when I walk into a place. For me, customer service is always important. I just have always been like that. You know, if you have a great experience with a company, it'll build that loyalty. You know, you're no matter what.
How do you do that online?
So
because you're great at it in person,
right?
But I don't know how do you do that online.
Okay, so anyone that's interested, a book that'll really turn you on to this subject is .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. And this
we'll provide that in the link.
Yeah.
.com. What is it?
.com Secrets by Russell Brunson. I actually have the book in my book bag there.
Oh, can I see it?
Yeah. Let me check these to make sure they're stopped.
Oh, that one stopped.
This one did too.
Oh, are we just running on the phones?
Yeah.
Oh, this one's done too.
Here, this one's going.
All right, you're going. Okay, good. Like I said, guys and gals, we might be experiencing some technical difficulties for these first 10 to 20 episodes. .com Secrets. Let me get this so you guys can see here. We got the .com Secrets Underground Playbook for Camera's Not Focused for Growing Your Company Online. Russell Brunson. Forward by Dan Kennedy. The guy looks like he's on his MacBook. Got a bunch of goals up there. He looks like he's ready to kill the game. Tell me a little bit about... So what you're saying is you apply the customer service A to Z. You learn things about that through that book.
So check this out. No, what he talks about in particular in one of these chapters is creating an attractive character in a business. If you look at a business that has had success, you will usually find a attractive character in the business. I started it.
Oh, okay.
So for example, look at Progressive. They have Flo. At a point in time, Subway had Jared. Right, so these are people that are the face of the company. I mean, he uses it in this book. That's why.
So what you're saying is you have to create kind of like
create a character, someone that people can.
Does it have to be a human? It could probably be a virtual character.
It can be a virtual character, but I do feel like since I'm so willing to take care of somebody in person, if somebody were to walk into this business and I'd be willing to take care of them, then I also want to take and handle the responsibility of also being able to take care of them online as well. So when they subscribe to our email list, you know, I take them through a series of emails, of welcome emails. So on the day one, hey guys, you know, I'm Bryan, founder of Canvas Fab. This is a story behind the company. I'm just going to be emailing you, you know, tomorrow. Then I'll send them another email, kind of just like getting them used to who I am and presenting myself.
How many of those do you have?
Emails?
Like preset emails.
I send about 4 or 5 emails.
How many like templates? So is it 4 or 5 different templates?
Yeah, it's each email is its own template.
Okay.
You know, and I just use kind of like a playbook. I got some ideas from this book, but it really just gave me some totally different ideas. You know, but yeah, the attractive character was something that really, I guess, for example, right now, how would you describe my energy? I'm engaged. We're talking.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This is the same thing. I want to give customers online that I'm paying attention to them, that I care about them. So I do provide videos for them. So hey, you know,
what's a good example?
Okay, so a lot of people ask, well, what's the difference between standard and gallery? Right? This is our product.
Okay, so a simple question.
A simple question.
You have 2 options on your website. One is gallery and one is what did you say? Standard.
Standard, yeah.
One is standard, one is gallery.
Which is just the thickness of the, you know. So any question, let's say you walked in here and you had some questions as an artist. I wrote them down in my notebook and said, this would be a great email content for anyone else that's an artist.
Oh, okay. So you're not like, let me grab that idea, concept, and apply it to everyone.
Right, because somebody may benefit from this particular, information. So, yeah, and he talks about there, I mean, there's some gold in there, you know, talking about.
This is great.
Yeah.
I don't know if the camera's blurry. But this book is awesome. If you're a visual person, this has a lot of different charts and graphs. Not complicated charts and graphs. Pretty simple. Yeah, this is awesome. Definitely gonna get myself.
I mean,
a
I've
copy.
probably gone through this book maybe 3-4 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I continue going back through it because there's a lot of information in there. And
Oh, there's an ebook version also.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure if you go on his website, all you have to do is pay shipping and you get the book for free.
What? How do you do that?
You go to his website, subscribe to his email list, and you get the book for free. Just pay for shipping.
I'm actually gonna write that down because that is the best idea ever.
And you know what? That's what I'm talking about right there. That gave me that gave me ideas, and I'm actually in the process of this. Within a week, I am launching my own.
So I can go to his website and get the book right now for free?
Yeah.
All I gotta do is subscribe.
Yep. And so what did he had some success there. Why is he successful? Because he just grabbed your email address.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
Well, now, not only did he grab your email address, you're gonna read his goddamn book.
The key to online sales is to continually growing your email list. And if you can continually grow your email list, you start growing your customer base. And as you provide more value to them, they start to be more loyal.
Of course.
So that's kind of that's essentially what I grabbed from that book and what I'm implementing with Canvas Fab.
And you don't want to get unsubscribed.
Correct.
You don't want people to unsubscribe.
Correct,
So
right.
you can't hassle them.
Right. And
you got to send them value.
Right.
Like cool shit.
Exactly.
Not
Yes.
whack ass shit.
Right. So
Can I roll up a joint? Thank you, sir. We'll just cut it to your feed. I'm pretty excited to edit this and listen to myself.
yeah.
Everyone says that they can't stand their own voice, and I don't know if I'm looking forward to listening to myself talk for
I mean, I've
an hour.
I could say I think I've kind of gotten used to it.
And this mic is what mic is this? Anyone listening, anyone who wants to start a podcast, anyone who wants to record any type of audio or any sounds, noise, this mic is badass. It's mobile. Hi. How are you? No dog today?
You guys are recording, so I don't want to.
That is a good. Yeah, I couldn't bring my psycho dog either.
Oh, I have one super psycho. You met her, no?
Yeah, I did. What is the name of this mic?
It's a blue mic. I forgot
Blue
the
mic?
actual model number, but yeah, it's a.
Oh, okay. So the company is Blue,
Yeah.
and they have various
I would
microphones.
honestly Google blue podcast mic.
Can I roll it?
Wait, you're not recording, right?
Yeah, but we just cut out
Oh, okay.
the
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, no, it's okay.
I'm gonna run to the restroom.
Yeah. I'll just keep talking here.
Yeah.
This is why I think it's important to have 3 guests on the show. Well, no, not 3 guests. 1 guest, me and a co-host. And so, hope everyone's enjoying the podcast so far. This is our first episode. We're speaking with Bryan today, and he's the owner at Canvas Fab. As most of you have heard, we're trying to keep the conversation kind of directed and not jump off path so much. Kind of keep it going into a smooth conversation. How we set this up is we actually just kind of created 10 basic questions. I don't know how many of them we've answered. Okay, it's a few more good ones. We're gonna take a 2-second break here, and we'll get right back to the second part of the podcast. All right, thanks. I'm gonna pause for a second. And then,
Battery. You got another battery?
yeah. Do you see? Okay, so I know I have goals. I know a lot of people have goals Goals are cool. Some people execute their goals. Some people don't do shit for their goals. Some people make New Year's resolutions every year. Some people write their goals, whatever. Goals, 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 goals. I know you're a goals guy.
Yeah.
What strategy do you implement for your goals? Is it 1 year, 3 year, 5 year? What's your game plan? How do you attack your goals?
Yeah, so I have monthly goals. I have weekly goals. And I also break it down to daily goals. It doesn't take much time to just 5 minutes, 10 minutes max.
In like what medium? Like what do you mean your daily, weekly, monthly goals? Like do you write them down?
Yes.
Like,
I have a notebook where I write down everything. And I've adopted this philosophy, so to speak, into say it in Jim Rohn terms, in terms of philosophy, right?
But you have to say it like him.
Right.
Say it like him. Philosophy.
Right. It'll come out. That I really.
This is why we need the co-host so that they can play that shit.
Yeah.
The audio.
But no, this guy, man, yes, he really turned me on, and he talked about philosophy. And one of the persons that I guess I gravitated towards when I was reading and learning about was Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, throughout his lifetime, has had over 3,500 journals, or had 3,500 journals. And this is stuff that he was writing down. And scholars, I guess
those included like his scientific thoughts and his experiments. He was just documenting.
Correct. Scholars say part of his genius was the fact that he was
so
able to
precise in that.
Right, meticulous in terms of writing down everything. And I've been writing down every day in my journal, and it's not like a diary, it's more like thoughts. Like when something happens, an idea that this conversation will spark, then I'll make a note down, things like that. But I noticed a difference. I've been writing now for about 1.5 years, going on 2 years in my journal. And it's very, very, very powerful because you're able to look at things from almost like the future and see where you were in the past and your thought processes. And kind of what you've learned through the process, right?
Do you have a specific outline or a specific systematic way of doing this?
I've been learning as I grow by doing, and I honestly believe that this is part of my goals philosophy is you are not your thoughts, you are what you do.
Originating from thought.
Correct, right. Seeming to do something is not actually doing something. So I...
Like the coma mierda.
Right. So by physically writing things down, there's a brain connection there. And when you reflect, it kind of puts things into perspective, really. And so when you say if there's a systematic approach that I do, yes, I've gotten into a weekly habit. So Sundays are usually my weekly checkup. Well, what was my performance like? Was I happy with what I accomplished? Was there ways that I wasted my time, so to speak? And I've had.
So you analyze all these things?
I'm very analytical.
And you do it on that schedule? Like you're like, oh, today's Sunday, and this is
I'm
what I do.
Mindset, yeah.
It's Sunday, and then Monday it's a little tweaked. It's a different strategy.
Yeah, Monday is like a go day,
Okay.
Mondays are,
So your business, you operate it like a Monday through Friday, kind of like half day Saturday or something? Like is that how you work it?
Yeah, so we're open Monday through Friday. And weekends, at least one day of the weekend, I like to analyze, how did the week go? How are sales? And I look at things from business goals and also personal goals. Because some personal goals, so to speak, exercising, meditation, reading, these are things that I'm, making sure that I'm on top of because they're things that make me happy.
Yeah, they are. You get so caught up in the hustle and those things are so important to the hustle.
Right.
But they do get neglected very easily.
Yes. One of them that I have succumbed to was, by hustling so much, I wasn't really on top of my exercise game, and I've really taken that to a new level. Just by starting. A great book, an example would be The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. just making a 1% change every day. Just a one degree in change of direction could totally change the outcome.
And that's not something you see on a daily basis. That's why it's called the compound effect.
Correct. Yeah.
1% daily. That doesn't mean in 10 days you're going to be like, holy shit, I'm 10% better. I'm fucking... No, that's not what he means. What he means is if you fix and better your path by 1 degree, it'll eventually compound effect so much. It'll build up so much that you'll have such an exponential growth that it'll just flabbergast you. You'll just step back and you'll be like, oh shit.
12 months go by, 24 months go by, and you look back, and this has recently happened by looking at my journals. It's like, whoa, I was facing an obstacle then. In this particular, I had this set of emotions, but I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. So I look at what I read and how I'm learning, and I say, if I'm constantly gaining knowledge, how much more can it help me moving forward? And part of it is just tweaking my mindset, staying on top of my mindset. A book for that I read is Gorilla Mindset by Mike Cernovich. It talks about really the conversation that goes on in your head, and I've had to really take a look at how I speak to myself. And what he says in the book is, if you spoke to your friends the way that you spoke to yourself, you probably wouldn't have any friends.
Why? Because we're hard on ourselves?
Yeah. And so,
I'm pretty nice to myself. And I mean, yeah, hard on myself, but like, I think,
I mean, kind of like, oh man, you messed this up, or kind of sometimes the conversation, we have to be aware. Sometimes we kind of just totally neglect what's going on in our mind.
I do talk a lot of shit.
Yeah. and I so it's just constantly adapting my mindset. So yes, goals are very important to me. If you have a list of goals, to me, I feel like I'm accomplishing something. There's something greater than myself. And one of the inspirations that I have, and to be quite frank, was one time, I guess, when everyone has spiritual moments where you think about life and death. And in contemplating death, I said, man, I wouldn't want to be the person that just dies and just has a date on his tombstone. I want
in what sense? That's all you have?
Right. Like, I am interested in leaving a legacy. In
but
terms
not
of
just like a legacy, but like
helping people. Correct. Yeah.
With your like legacy,
changing
something.
Exactly. So it's an inspiration for me in my business that I am as aware as I can be. I'm as service. I guess I provide as much service as I can, because what I'm trying to accomplish is greater than myself. And I think that, that goes a long way. I mean, it's important. So yeah, it's good, man. You mentioned some good books there. We're gonna make sure and put those books in the link in the caption, so everyone who's listening, you can check it out. If you're just tuning in or recently tuned in, we are on
our Instagram account. It's Art Network podcast, and the YouTube channel is going to be Art Network Podcast, and we'll have the link provided. And we're going to be bringing multiple episodes a week to the podcast. We're going to be featuring different artists, different gallery owners, different types of businesses that have to do with the creatives and architecture, whatever has to do with the creative side. If you'd like to be on the podcast yourself, we're currently now only doing them in person. I think that's the way we're going to keep it. I don't want to do any podcasts over Skype. Kind of takes away the personal feeling. I don't know who you are unless we're hanging out. I mean, yeah, sure, I can know who you are, but it's way more fun to do it in person. And it was a pleasure having Bryan on here now. I'm going to let him take over. He can talk a little bit about how you can actually get your pictures and your artwork printed on some sweet canvases. I use the service all the time. Like I mentioned, I print my originals, I print my sketches, I print my patterns. I just say, hey, Bryan, I need some help. Can you touch this image up? Hey, what sizes? Anything that I need to know, I want to learn. He's helping me out. He's an awesome guy. Pretty sure he ships everywhere in the U.S., if not worldwide. I don't know. You're going to have to listen to him.
Nice. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, so we print pictures on canvas. If I just pop one of these off the wall, any picture, whether it's a picture of yourself, selfie, a dog, your vacation, your artwork, it's 100% custom. And essentially, you just go on our website, upload anything that you want to print, and it's a wrap. You select your size and one of the things that I wanted to mention that's extremely important is my goal is to help artists, photographers, designers, anyone creative in general. This is the target audience, because I've gotten asked tons of questions by local photographers, artists who walked in. They've been looking for a service. Well, where can I print my work? A reliable place, a place that I can grow into and help me out. And so this is what we do. I am going to be launching soon a Photoshop course. For any of you that don't know Photoshop, I have a degree in graphic design from the Miami Art Institute. And, I've gotten asked a lot of questions of how do I do this in Photoshop, or how do I, have this effect, or do I have a high enough resolution file? And these are things that, as a creative or as an artist, if you're trying to move forward by either print or online, you should have this technical knowledge. And so it's knowledge that I have just sitting in my head from years of experience that I don't mind completely sharing, because I feel that if it can help you with your art or inspire you in any way, shape, or form, then I feel like I've accomplished something just simply by inspiring you and introducing you to our service and how it can help you out.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that. We'll make sure to put all the information for Canvas Fab also in the description. So if you want to follow them, make sure to do so and order your loved ones a nice gift. With that being said, we're going to wrap up this first episode. Thanks, Bryan, for coming out. And we will have you on the show again here shortly.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks. And everyone have a nice weekend. And we'll be in touch here probably tomorrow.